I can make you look bad.
This is the last chance. The next meeting is after Halloween.
Bring what?
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring some leftover that's not much
You
left
mean tomorrow night?
tomorrow night.
Okay, I open the meeting. It's like 6:02. Who's doing our pledge for us?
This is Kaylee Ackerman.
Kaylee Ackerman, would you like to come up and do the pledge for us? Go ahead.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to get the board's permission to move up the Eagle Scouts because they have another meeting they have to go to.
7 o'clock.
You want to explain it to them, Paul, what they need to do?
You guys, gentlemen are here to present to the school board part of your Eagle project, correct?
You stand up.
Give your names.
Zach Gerard.
David Parker.
Okay.
We were just wanted to ask for written permission to build on the school's property,
For the
What are you building?
dugouts.
for the ball field.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Did the board have any questions?
No, that's
Volunteer, they're volunteering.
This is just a beginning step, is that what this is? Okay.
And are you guys making the plans for the dugout?
They have what they want it to look like. We just had a rough sketch to bring to the next meeting we have to go to. I have a picture of it if you want to see it.
I think they're coordinating with what John Cadwick.
Yeah.
Good.
Just to let the board know, when they're doing something for the Boy Scouts, say, like an Eagle project or something like that, they're covered under BSA insurance. When they're doing projects, if they're building things and doing things like that, BSA covers them. So as far as insurance and all that stuff, they're covered.
Well, that wasn't a concern for me, but it's good to know, though.
It is, well, just in case, because it usually comes out with all insurance and
Yeah,
running
yeah.
equipment.
This is what it looks like now. This is the structure we're going to put on it. Side view, top view, and
Oh,
front view.
nice, nice. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
very nice. What's that?
Okay.
You want to pass it the other way?
Yeah, Mr. Shute didn't see it.
I've already seen it.
Oh.
I'm all set, thank you.
How about, I like that. Good job, guys.
Amazing. Good. Paul, have you seen it? Or
Nate?
give it back to me?
So
I haven't seen it.
Nate hasn't seen it.
It's 5,000.
So I need a motion from the board to get permission for
I
these two
move.
gentlemen.
I'll second.
Okay, you know, to go on school property and build our duck. We thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, unanimous. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
For your
doing it.
community service.
Get to Dover.
Would you like a written letter?
We'll take it, put it in the minutes. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, we have two of them. Okay, very good.
We're doing separate projects, so we can both get a legal. That's why.
Uh-huh,
we
so
have
one of
two
you-
everything.
So one of you is doing one dugout and the other one's doing the other one? Okay.
You're not gonna help each other, are you? Teamwork. Drive slow to your next meeting.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any public comments? I'm sorry. Did you, I asked, passed some very good information on to me the other night, and I want the board to hear this. It's about your after-school program. Go ahead, please.
So the program's off to a wonderful start. We have 102 students enrolled. We have 244 students K through 5, so that's about 42% of our student body who is taking part in this program. So it's excellent.
And if you all remember when she first came in, she only had 89s, so she's had an increase. So I want the board to realize and the public realize this program is being utilized, and over a third is a real good number. Thank you very much
Thank you,
for
Melissa.
what's being done.
I've asked Mr. Sussman to review the past grant that's been submitted twice for the 21st century.
21st century.
Because I think after-school program is something that's really needed in Milton, and I think that the present one, although it's good and it's been worked on very diligently, I think it still limits people because it can only be an hour, and there still has to be parents who pick up at the bus stops and stuff like that, right? So I've just asked him to look at the 21st century grant that would be for a much larger program that would run, that is supposed to run longer hours.
So that's something we apply for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll work out well. Barbara Hughes was kind enough, she wrote a newsletter report, and in New York, we had an $850,000 grant, and a lot of it was the extended time, and it paid for a school bus. It was 2 hours at the end of the school day, and then for 6 weeks over the course and during July and August. So not only do you get the depth of instruction, as Stephanie was saying, in terms of the time, and you also get transportation, where we were in rural schools. Well, in these rural schools, you're spread out. So getting the students there during the off times and getting them home during the off times. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good thing, and I think it adds well to what, to expand it. It's great what it is, and let's just expand it to more time and do all the things that we talked about. So we're enthusiastic about taking a good look at that. That's an excellent point.
Melissa did say to me that this is not a babysitting service. And that's what she told the parents.
Instruction.
This is actually instructional.
Right. Enrichment programs.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you.
and basically, as Barb and I were talking, it's time. I think that the biggest thing where you have students, when you learn it, is in time. And some of us just need time and more time. So instead of being for time in the, where the school is a certain amount of time per day, prisoners of time, the students become prisoners of time, and the school does. And there's a certain amount that we can pay and afford. So therefore, this provides us to control time, manipulate time, rather than having time manipulate us. Very profound.
I'm still going around and around. I'm looking for some more time.
Did you have anything else you wrote? Thank you for coming in to pass that information on to the board. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, moving on to the minutes for 10-12. That'll be the public and the non-public? I'm sorry, and- well, yeah, and after the budget after.
The,
Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the minutes.
For the public or the,
Public, yes.
okay, Pat?
I'll second it.
Paul? Have any corrections?
I have some typical minor corrections that we'll just hand over. Thank you.
Are we doing one at a time, or all
Yes,
of
we
them?
are. Yeah.
You confused me.
All set? Anybody else? With the corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Passes. Okay, then, non-public for October 12th, 2016. Do I have a motion?
I'll
And a
move.
second?
I'll second then.
Peg, yeah.
Who first?
Peg, who was the second?
Oh, I thought.
I'll second.
I thought I was second, okay.
I didn't hear. Do I have any corrections?
Yes, I think this is one that needs to be mentioned out loud. Personnel on page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13th line down, we've been talking about background checks, and the sentence for the ones we don't have a rapport with, we would, and I do believe we talked about not allowing them to be alone.
Right, here, right?
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down. Paul, you made a comment in Scouts, we have too deep leadership. I didn't quite understand what that meant.
There's always two people
Okay,
that present at all times.
All right.
So there's never one person, one adult alone with one
okay.
minor.
So is that a correct terminology, or
Yes, it
some
is. That's
terminology?
what it's called, too deep leadership.
Okay, I just did not understand it.
There's even an example there, Peg, for you to read.
It just says an adult can't be alone with a child.
But read next. It says, if Stephanie's son needed a ride home, I couldn't do it unless there was another person in the car with me.
I just didn't understand the too deep.
Any more corrections?
It's a pain in my butt.
I know. Just
Minor.
giving you.
We all set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, it passes. Now moving on to Thursday, the budget, October 13th, please. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Paul? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any corrections? No, we all set? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, passes. Moving on, okay. Earl, you're up next.
Hey, what, I'm going to have our student go first, because some of the things that Scott and I might say, he's going to say, and we're very proud to have him here, and I'd like to thank Scott for having set this up, and we look forward to hearing from him, so I would like to have him be our go-to one first, so we don't start saying things that he's gonna say, because...
Because you don't like to do that, Mr. Sussman.
He never
Yeah.
does that.
Well, we're...
Mr. Chair, if I can, just want to introduce, this is Cade Jenkins. He is currently a junior at the new high school. Cade was actually recently inducted into our National Honor Society, and as well as a member of our Student Center. He is the first person to bring report to have you guys to talk to about as far as having a student report. I believe that's included in your packets. Kind of go forward from there, so.
Alright, how you guys all doing today?
Good.
Pretty good?
Great,
Okay,
thank you.
So I'm just gonna talk about some of the things that go on in school for pretty much on a daily basis. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been trying to build up our student senate. We currently have about 10 to 15 members, give or take, and are currently giving students the opportunity in the high school to join as well. It's something that's never happened before, and it's something that I have talked to many students and they're looking forward to. It's going to give them more of a voice to say what goes on around the school, and it's really a cool opportunity that we've came up with. We've also had our first meeting is for Life of an Athlete. It's a program put on by the NHIAA, and the students were handpicked because of their leadership in sports and in academics. The group learns about health, the way to manage your school schedule in sports, and they learn how to make connections and relationships with other sports teams to have better teamwork, stuff like that. The business club has had about 2 meetings now. We've started to discuss how we want to raise money to possibly have a field trip at the end of the year. We're looking to sell school supplies during the school for cheaper prices and hoping to make some profit on that. Project Search has been on 3 trips so far this year. The first trip was a ropes course in Dover, and we got to meet students from different schools all over New Hampshire and a few from Maine as well. We split up into groups and completed the ropes course as a team. The groups were people that we had never met before, so it was very cool to be able to build the trust on one day. So far we've been to an agricultural presentation and the 2016 presidential election, which was very interesting. Newt's been holding many career field trips to guide students to the path they want to take after school. We attended the college fair at UNH, which had schools from all over the country. We were able to talk to representatives to find out more information of the schools that we wanted to attend. Also, Newt added a construction career day, which allowed students to drive and learn how to operate heavy construction equipment. Colleges have also been visiting our school to talk to students and to get them interested. PSATs were recently taken, as well as NEWA testing, and our school has started off quickly, and we're getting lots of things done every day. For a small school, there's a lot going on, and our students are always busy and engaged.
Very good, thank you.
very much.
Wow.
I also just want to kind of mention to the board, and just want to kind of put out there that, Cade, just want to thank Cade for coming out and being the first in a while to come in. When I approach the student senate, it's always tough to be somebody to be the first one to step up and say, I'll give this a shot, especially when you're put in front of a community board. So I think it takes a little bit of bravery to come out and talk on a Wednesday night for your school board. So
Well,
But you did very, very
Thank you.
well, Cade, and
Thank you.
hopefully we didn't scare you.
No.
Oh,
I'm all
but-
set. I'm good.
so I want you to know, if you're nervous, I'm nervous too, so don't.
Well, you couldn't tell it by the way he spoke. He
No.
spoke like you've been in speech class
Yes,
for
you have.
years.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
Very good, well, you did a great
Great
job.
job.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Great
Appreciate it.
job.
I'm still excited. Did you do the heavy equipment?
No, I didn't, but I had many friends that did, and they said it was really cool being able to learn how to do that stuff,
Yeah.
because not many people get to do that, as teens, so it was cool.
Awesome.
We had students that were able to, it was through obviously through a field trip, but it was put on, and they were able to get access to a variety of heavy machinery, but also kind of be able to sit in it, be able to, be able to operate, what operating would be, how it would look like, and kind of engage kids who, kind of be able to put something forth that this is attainable for them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
that's cool.
interesting career move.
Well, we need
excited.
people in construction or we're in trouble.
Absolutely.
Did you really enjoy the ropes course?
I did, yes, it was awesome. Like I said, there was people that I'd never met before in my life,
Yeah.
and we did things like truss falls, stuff, you know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
very cool.
No, I did one a long time ago in my younger years,
Yeah.
and it was the same thing. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't think I dare do one now, but
Yeah, they can be scary.
I would drop the person I was
Too much
trusting.
at risk now, right?
Well, thank you very
Well,
much.
Thank you.
You can drive home and do your homework now.
Excellent.
Drive slow. So we'll have a different candidate in 2 weeks. So when-
Yes, so the way I put it for the student senate, I want to give as many kids the opportunity to speak in front of you as I possibly can.
Get the exposure.
Exactly, and I think it's one of the nice things I think for the high school that we've had over the last couple of weeks between, Cade coming in tonight, between Devin Hurley kind of spearheading the ball field fundraiser, a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking at it as an opportunity for us to showcase our kids.
Oh,
I think it's
absolutely.
I think it's a great way. So I'm not saying you won't see Kate again, because you may, but on the same line, maybe it's later on in the spring, with only, that's a group at Student Senate that they're really trying to grow. And I think the more times you get kids in here, get that experience and talk about a real life learning experience.
Is it's just the high school?
Student Senate right now is predominantly just in high school. They are making plans to reach down more into the middle school.
Oh, so is that what he meant when it says that this has never happened before?
Well, before, it always had been just a student council, in the sense of the student council's oversight was more of just, what dances are you gonna have and what have, but with the idea when they purposely changed the name from student council to student senate.
Okay.
Because they wanted really kind of make themselves a new identity, and where they still are overseeing those things, like who gets to run the cotillion during, the winter cotillion. But they want to take that step further and say, can we have more of a say in the governance of what our school,
Right.
And how the actual policy and kind of decision-making process of the school, not just those pieces around the student body.
Good.
Really excited what they're coming up with.
That's why I wanted to blend this in, because what we're really looking at, voice, we want a student voice, we want a staff voice, we want the admin voice, and we want to do it in a teamwork type of thing. Going with that, as we go through our thing, we'll have John talk about the Red Day. We had a great day today. He wanted to kick us off. We'll do this kind of as a team, kind of a band here. So you can, as you can see, we're all decked out in red, thanks to John kind of spearheading this whole thing.
Donna Marie as well. I'm going to encourage at the high school we work together, because I've done Red Ribbon Week before, and it's a great activity. A lot of kids like to wear costumes. So Friday we're not doing Halloween. We're doing, say, Boo to Drugs, so they get to wear not really like frightening costumes or anything like that. It has to be just showing their supportive living, like a healthy lifestyle. It's really great. The teachers have done some really great things, and they're age appropriate. In kindergarten, they're looking at this great video that talks about this cartoon that talks about things to not touch. Like if they see a medicine bottle and so forth. Then they brought in those pods that for the washing machine. They're charging.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The kids are eating and so forth, and so they're showing them that you don't touch these things. So they were doing some really good things, and it goes all the way through. And at the high school, they've been doing a lot of different activities as well. And they came down and met with us.
Yeah, one of the activities that they actually did was they were able to purchase some of the goggles that the police department may have that mimics what happens when folks are under the influence. And they had them at various levels to kind of show kids and be able to have kids be able to take a look at when you're talking about, because we have kids who drive, and you're looking and saying, this is what it means when you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. We try to be able to show what you're leads with, you have an impaired sense of recite, what have you. And that's been very eye-opening for our kids to be able to kind of go through that process and see what that looks like. What does 0.08 actually look like with this number. But that's just kind of one part that we're doing as far as for Red Ribbon Week. Obviously, awareness, like John was talking about, doing that in the middle school as well. They're doing, there's also an essay contest that students are the topic is around how that has maybe influenced them in their lives. We've had some very powerful entries that have come out of that previously. Some very powerful kind of comments and themes that come from that, and with some really good quality writing. So we're really looking forward to that process as well. Kind of that concludes up on Friday.
And the high school kids part of our bags. Donna Marie and her students put together gift bags for our students that had a coloring book, had pencil eraser, and had just had different messages, age-appropriate messages for the kids, just to make them aware. And today was we are Red Day, and everybody from the high school and the S wore red, and we all got together on the lawn. This is our picture we all took. This is the entire student body.
So that was taken. That photo was taken this afternoon around 1 o'clock. That is students' grades. That is K through 12.
Pre-K.
Pre-K through 12. I'm sorry. Pre-K through 12 on the front lawn of Newton in celebration and of Red Ribbon Week and raising awareness for drug and alcohol education.
Barbara, you
Really
match.
cool.
I didn't even know.
You didn't even know.
Yeah, you should have been here earlier.
And that's,
I don't have
it's
the
the shape of
sauce.
a ribbon.
Yep.
I just,
The other thing, that the design, the angle's a little bit low, but the design is, and I'm assuming you guys are aware, like when you see like the ribbon for like cancer awareness or breast cancer awareness, right? The ribbon is a little bit different for it looks more like a bow. So we tried to get our students and staff to make an outline and actually be standing in that shape. If we were a little bit higher with the picture, I think it would be easy to see, but you get the, I think it's high enough, you get
Right
definitely
next
get
to
the
it.
effect.
Well, I don't think we could put you up on the roof at noon.
I'm in the picture.
She's right, like her grand,
Yeah, it's right in
grandpa.
the front.
Grandpa.
And then after this, the MES did a can drive, so all the students walked from here
I said
down the
that.
street. We went we didn't end up coming all the way down here, but they met us right by the fire station, so they blocked up, they closed down 125, and all the kids crossed the street, and they dropped off their cans, and then they closed it down again, and we crossed back and walked to school. So it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. The kids were great. They were fantastic, and they
Good
brought
weather,
a lot of
no
people.
raining.
No rain.
No snow.
The weather was beautiful. Yeah, it was really great. It was a good day.
A little on the cool side, but they did well.
Yeah.
Once they moved around, they were fine.
Yep.
Did you say they run a lot? Is that what you said? They run a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, I
No.
thought you said they run around a lot.
No.
A lot of energy.
Well, they had, yeah, no, they didn't run. They closed down the road and they walked down there and they walked all the way back. So,
Good.
yeah.
It was very neat to be kind of the scene when you're walking out in the front lawn, you know, because you're talking, you go from one instance, you turn one way and you see an 18-year-old who's, you know, a senior graduating, and the next thing you turn, like, you know, you have, you know, a 3 or 4-year-old,
Yeah.
who's a pre-K kid, and then you get the young kids looking at the
Yeah,
big kids kind of
true.
going, what's going on, and the big kids looking at the little kids going, what's going on, so.
You gotta send
it's a lot of
this
fun.
to Donna Poole for the yearbook.
Yeah, that
The
definitely.
numbers
Well,
you
I
get
put it on the
for
website
you-
today. It's not very great, but
I don't know who
That's the
didn't
ones.
want it, no.
Scott, that would be good in the senior yearbook too.
of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is Donna Marie's picture.
Yeah.
She sent it to me. So they've got it. So
It was real neat how you staged
Yeah,
that.
the
Oh, did I?
the little ones.
Yeah.
Up top. It said,
Who's a teacher take a picture in the second floor? Thank you.
Good.
Was that Karen Johnson taking it? She took
No.
a fabulous picture and knew itself.
No, it was,
Gotta
Brian.
give credit.
Oh, okay, sure.
Took it to this classroom.
Hey, Earl, did you have
Very
anything
good.
else under
That's
your report?
adorable.
Earl, did you have anything else under you?
Actually, here's, Peg has this little picture, and
Oh, yeah, we all
I'll
have
give
them, I
this to
think,
Paul.
don't we?
He's on the facilities committee.
You got it.
Actually, it worked
Yours
out
to
well
keep.
because I meet with the town supervisor at
not.
10, and
Okay.
we connect, and today I met with the head of the town board, and also too, then they came to our added men group,
Here, this one is
and they
that.
met with Tim and Bob and Scott and John, Frank John, and I. And we're gonna have a little committee which Paul will be on, and Lou will be on, and myself and Bob, and we're looking at what we can possibly do in terms of town. Because as you know, it's the first largest solar landfill in the state of New Hampshire. So it's right here.
Oh, my.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward, and Scott can talk a little bit about, there's some, if it works out that we do something with the school, there's curriculum offerings, going back to what Steph talked about, the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, things like that. We can look at some crossways and segues into the curriculum as far as the high school for sure, and possibly John can also put it down as far as the K-5. You might want to talk about the curriculum, things that it could bring us as we met with them.
I mean, they just mentioned the representative from the company that oversaw the landfill construction.
He has his name there on the
Yeah.
little chart.
He just mentioned that he's worked in conjunction with another school in, I believe it's West Newbury, Massachusetts, I think.
And also we work with Exeter.
I believe so, yeah, and he was just, and one of the things, there's some curricular opportunities if you want to connect some of the work done in our science classes with the, you know, what it means as far as with the landfill, the current solar farm that we have now, what that means, and how that works, and also the next one, you know, we move it through construction. Maybe it's an opportunity, that project continues, an opportunity for our kids to kind of watch it up close as it's developed, built, and then kind of the science behind it.
And it's a real nice segue because I meet with the town every 2 weeks at 10, and then we have the administrative team at 11. So when I was at the town hall, I brought them in, so that way we could talk. And when the town supervisor and she has a background in education as well. Oh my gosh, here it goes again. I can't be a grandfather twice. So,
You never know.
I never know, okay? Can one twin come like 3 days later?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so I'm done. My report is done. Thank you.
Good job.
Did you have anything else, John?
Oh. Well, my report is basically, I basically started giving some data to review. This is basically gonna be some baseline data. This was, NEWA testing that was done, no, not NEWA, sorry. Kneecap, science kneecap that was done in the spring. This was also, you also had a, California, parent climate survey and, then it was the staff climate survey. So this is an overview. I have the full report. I didn't want to put the whole thing in here because I really haven't digested the whole thing. I haven't really gone through a lot of it. It basically has the questions and different percentages, but this is the summary of all of it. But I can make it with the full report available if you'd like. So I didn't really make lots of comments on it. I'm just kind of giving you a baseline so that when I come in the spring, next year at this time, with the science kneecap, we'll have a comparison, show where our growth is. We might be able to do this survey again. This came from SWIFT, so we're still working with SWIFT. So we could probably do a survey like this again, or something like My Voice, and so I'll give you the baseline data. The next ones we'll get will be our NEWA scores, now that we're closing, you guys are done, so we can close the window. So I can get a school report. We can't get them until the window's closed. So it kind of give you where we're at in math and reading and so forth with our NEWA testing. And then Smarter Balance will come, and some discipline data probably next month. But most of it will be baseline data to show what we're doing and where we're going with it. Except the discipline data, I'm going to give you an update, some comparisons from last year to this year and so forth.
Sounds good, thanks.
Any questions and you have, I did send out my purple pages. I'll start sending that now. And along with the purple pages, you got a more detailed explanation about the donation for the library from Ann Maddox, but it's basically there.
So Earl accepted those shelves, what cases? Are they wooden or metal?
There was a picture in that. No, it's not here. They're wood.
They're wood, okay.
Yeah.
And they're gonna presently replace what's in
Yeah,
there?
and they're small ones. They're
Yeah,
not for like the
okay.
high, tall ones. So
Okay.
there's the small ones. And she's gonna get a bunch of books. He's closing his store. That gave you more detail. I didn't know all the details about it. He's was a retired teacher, has a bookstore in a certain area, and he's closing that down, and he's moving to another area. So, but he's, getting rid of the bookshelves and it's the connection through Ann and knows this person. And he said we're probably gonna get a lot of books from him, which is good.
So that's it, okay? That's it.
Yes.
Okay, Scott?
Just a couple of things. I know we've kind of hit upon some of this already. On October 7th at our teacher workshop day, we hosted a speaker, Cindy Caraway Wilson. She works for she's the director of training for youth catalytics. Presented our staff regarding the effects of childhood trauma and what their effects would be for coming into school and how they would kind of see that. It was a very interactive presentation for our faculty. We were able to bring up folks from MAS who were able to join us and kind of take part in that. So those were kind of an interesting way to get some of the things that we've seen in our school and some of the data that's been presented to the board previously. So we have some kids who have some high needs, and we're trying to work with our staff to how do we best address them and identify what those needs for our students may be, regardless if they are pre-K all the way through. So that was one. We've already talked about Red Ribbon Week. the See You for Reality event that is happening, that'll be happening tomorrow. We have 2 time slots for that to happen. Our 9th, that's through Holy Rosary Credit Union. Their representatives were here this afternoon. Jen Levitt and I spoke with them to set up the event. They have over 30, I believe it's 30 volunteers that are coming in from the Rochester, Farmington, Milton, Somersworth area, from different businesses in the area and from a variety of different fields. Students have completed the career cruising application, so they're going to be, each student in the high school, grades 9 through 12, has a printout ready for them for tomorrow that has what their career that they chose, and they break down what their starting salary would be. And they have to basically walk through, it takes about an hour when they have to walk through in the gymnasium and meet with these different folks from different fields and kind of fill out what their expenses are going to be. So it's like, budgeting 101, but also kind of working with a live interaction with folks in the area. So very excited about that. We have completed our NEWA and PSAT, so NEWA being our local assessment for the fall, with a comparison coming in the spring. But we also did a session for the PSATs. PSATs were given for all sophomores on October 19th. That was across the board. And we really wanted to prep all sophomores for, with the SATs being the state assessment for juniors. We had all sophomores take the PSATs, put them in the same environment, kind of give them acclimated to what that's going to look like. We did have a few slots for, the amount of tests we had, it was slightly more than the sophomores we had. So we were able to kind of open up to a couple of juniors who want to take it for a second time. Went very well. Kids did a nice job with it. NEWA testing was grades 6 through 9. Our middle school team really looks to use that, and our 9th grade team really going to use it to kind of figure out what their placement would be 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. We don't tend to do NEWA beyond 9th grade because once you hit 11th, that's when you see that next round of significant testing from the state with either Smarter Balance or the SATs. So that's kind of what we have in a nutshell for the report.
All right, thank you.
Do you have the results from the NEWA testing, Scott?
I do not. The NEWA test, we haven't closed the window yet.
Okay,
We
all right.
have I think we have a few kids who are just doing some makeup work.
Okay.
We just finished it up, so once we close the window, then we can kind of get that information out.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to school board business? No, I mean trust balance.
Trust balances, yeah.
Oh, Larry.
Good. Larry Brown, before you left the discussion on solar, Andrew Kellar is the person's name, and I just wanted to put a plug in for vocational education and throw out a couple of those facts that I'm forced to remember. In the middle of August, Scotland was producing 103%, we are after all Scottish, of all the electricity it needed from non-fossil sources. Wyoming just voted down a tax, a fossil fuel state, voted down a tax on solar. They have a 90,000 acre, that's 140 square miles, wind farm in operation, and there are presently 250,000 people working in solar technology. That's equivalent to the total employment in the coal industry. And Somersworth has the vocational program. You get interface with your carpentry, electrical and mechanical systems, and Portsmouth is pulling out. And so, anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Lou, I skipped you.
No, I was just, Larry said we're all Scottish, and I was just agreeing with him, that's fine, no question.
Oh, no, you,
Mark that
I got
down in
it
the
too,
notes.
so.
no, you have a trust fund balance sheet.
Oh, okay, that's.
I said you're next. No, sorry.
We're
Lou,
discussing Scottishness now.
No, I wasn't.
Well, this is part of it. I asked them to include the trust fund. This is current as of the 30th of September. The 25,000 that got voted on has not been added to this. So this is the bottom line for each fund as of this moment. And I thought it was important for everybody to see exactly what is in there. And I think, Nate, you said that the 25 would be going in a couple of weeks when
Yeah,
the
actually,
audited number.
Yeah, you're approving the checks tonight, actually. It's in the
Yeah.
manifest.
So I just wanted you all to be on the same page as we are.
This is the,
The current
Current.
balance.
I know, but what is the trust fund?
The trust funds are, the school is, building and maintenance, school bus, there's 5 there.
Okay, I see
School,
it.
update and improve security, school district technology, education of special needs children. Those are our 5.
Thank you.
So where's the 25 going?
Into maintenance and repair.
So now we're,
School
And
building,
special
okay.
needs too.
Huh?
Children's special needs.
how much going in
Oh,
there?
really?
Yeah, 25 for that too.
That's what the board's approved
Each.
last, yeah, the board's approved, the 2 warrant
I didn't
articles last year.
realize that the special needs was getting another 25. So we have more in there than we need.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where does this trust money come from?
Surplus,
curiosity.
surplus, fund balance at the
Okay,
end of the year.
all right.
You have to raise and appropriate before you can take it out.
Okay,
That's the issue we had up in Wakefield, remember?
all right,
Can't take it out unless you put a warrant article.
thank you.
You all set, Lou?
Well, for that one,
You want another one?
well, we have to tell everybody about the computers, but isn't that later?
Yeah, okay, all right. Moving on, school board business. Did you want to talk about Earl? So you already did that donation?
Yes, we did that, John spoke about that.
Okay, that's the bookcases, yeah, bookcases.
Someone else
Yeah.
donated
Well,
donated money
actually-
for the school activity fund for skiing?
Yeah, oh,
Something
right,
as well.
$500. So based on the policy, oh, no, because it hasn't.
It hasn't been approved.
Never mind, I'll take back what I'm saying.
Okay, now, I put B on their spending contract, that's gone to the policy committee to look at and see if there needs to be any changes to it. I think there will be. Now,
Okay.
establishment of a grant committee, who put that on there?
I guess I did because, or I asked about it and Earl kind of thought it was a good idea. We don't know what's going on with all these grants and I think it would be nice that we had more information where it was going to, and it's not to try to micromanage, but things are not as transparent as we like. And things have happened that weren't quite in the right direction before. I'm not blaming anybody, but let's move on and do it better. And I think this committee would be great. Earl, do you want to talk
Yeah, I think
about it
it's,
too?
I've had it before in my other districts, and Steph brought up the idea of the grant that she talked, it's a clearinghouse, where you kind of assure that when something comes up, you have a group that takes a look at it and kind of ascertains where it might go. It's like what we talked about before, and that Mr. Brown talked about, Larry Brown talked about, we talked about with the town, if we were to pursue that and then look to the charitable foundation or whatever, the solar. You know, we kind of divide out so that we have a group that specifically looks at it, because if you're going to be successful with any of these competitive grants, and also too, we're an excellent technology group met, seems like last week, but we met in, we had Back Bay, we had some school board members, we had the administrative team, we had Donahue, we had reps from each of the 2 schools. And it was very good, and I think that the grant committee would be that same type of transparent thing where this is what we're getting from Title I, this is what we're getting from II. We talked about computers, where they were, what we get, and the Barb, in fact, used was there as well. So I think that from it, you get that communication, so you look through the front. We're looking at the utmost we can do as far as the students are concerned, and everybody has everything out there. So, oh, this comes from Title I, or this is IDEA. So we kind of understand where it all is, where the funding comes from, and it's kind of a team thing. So I think the grant committee is a good clearinghouse. First of all, it's an awareness of what do we have, and also an awareness of is grant possibilities come up. We say, well, we're looking at the 21st century, we're looking at this, we're looking at this. Not right now. So we prioritize in terms of the staffing that we have. You could only have just so many people doing just so many things because you're spread too thin. So I think that everybody knows what we have, everybody knows where it's going, and everybody knows who's gonna do what. So I think it's a good strategic action plan as far as grants are concerned, and you spell it out and say, these are the grants, Title I and MES is done by this one, by Jen, by John, by Scott, by the IDA. So everybody kind of knows there's competitive grants and non-competitive grants, and each one kind of has a life of its own. But we'll simplify it in short form and then move on from there. And the best composition of the committee is somebody from the school board, myself, somebody from the community, somebody from the staff, the teaching staffs, one from MES, one from the high school, and an administrator. It can be either John or Christine, one of the two administrators from each of the two schools. So it's basically like the tech committee was. We sit down and we do what I just said.
Now, Earl, I have a question for you.
Does that, Lou, does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to be more aware, and that way if there are strings, because when things are just brought up right here, you don't have any time to absorb. And I think I'm repeating myself, but I need to absorb. It's like at the committee about the computers the other day. I said something and then I go, oh, no, we can't do that, no means no, but can we work it? I talked to Earl how we may be able to work it another way, and I talked to Doug. So, it gives you time to see what can be done, and that way things that don't need to be in our budget aren't in there, and where they really should go and how many. It's not to stop them, it's just more eyes, more knowledge, and open and
More understanding.
Yeah, exactly, because last Friday with going to that meeting was awesome. I learned a lot, and I thought it was positive. I came out myself with a very positive thing. I was glad we all did it. Because we did learn where all those computers came from, and everybody around that heard anything about it go, where'd they come from, and, why didn't we know? Why were they in the attic? And this way, the rats are out of the attic. Rats always go to the attic.
Can I ask that Mr. Sussman read that part of his report? Because I don't think it was explained the meeting that happened Friday. I don't know what happened Friday.
Oh.
The technology, we had a group of people get together, like I said, and talked about basically the computers, and assuring that we knew where all the computers were. We had Back Bay was there, so we had all the stakeholders there. We just sat around the big table and And we, I think it was a good awareness, that way Back Bay Barb was there, and at some point we'll write a little bit about it. And Lou asked a lot of questions, and a lot of people asked questions, and together we each supplied the answers. So in summation, it was kind of a group discussion about the credibility and building trust so that people understand that as we go out, we indeed know where all the computers are. Back Bay is in it. There was some questions when the administrative team arrived, when John and I arrived with the staff, their concerns. Remember, they were here one of the first meetings that we were here at the school board, and they were concerned about the computers and things like that. So I think that some of the, I think it was direct, open communication, and people understood what computers were purchased through what of the grants, and that the ones that were upstairs in the SAU, you know, how they arrived there, where they are, their status, how they were going to get out to staff, so that indeed everybody knew where everything was and how it is they came. And back then, among the things we talked about was as we were receiving computers, that everyone, the professional closest to the situation, would have a voice in what the computers were. Some of the capacity of the computers that had the staff had more voice on the very outset than maybe what they purchased would have been more of what they might need. We talked about that. We talked about the computer lab, and it was an open and frank discussion, and we agreed that we would reconvene again to continue that, to converse about it and work together as a team with the staff, with the administration, with Back Bay, and with those representatives of the board. I believe it was Doug and Lou that were there. So, so in answer to your question, Steph, I would hope that the grant committee would be that same type of old-fashioned shared decision-making type of thing, where you would be a focus group. You would meet as you would need to, not that you're creating more time for people to meet just for the sake that they met, that you have the specific task and awareness. These are the grants we have at hand. This is what we have. We'll reconvene in 3 or 4 months and take a look at this again. And I think that when we come to school budget time, we'll be in a real nice spot. And of course, Nate is a part of this as well, because he controls the purse strings. So we have to bring along Dad. So we bring him along to pay the bills. So and I should say, you know, we didn't say it, but you know, I'd like to thank the board for their support of Nate as he's still earning a lot of stickers, and he's been working really hard. He's got the school budgets for both Milton and Wakefield. He's got negotiations and all the other little tasks that we have with technology and all that. So I think that you folks, and you know, we've really worked as a team, and you know, and obviously next year it won't be as you know, everything won't come at us at one time. A lot of our structures will be more set. So I was brief before. I better
Yeah,
have
I have a
phone
quick
call.
question.
I
have
need
a
the
quick
phone
question.
to ring again.
No, I'll just
So,
see you.
was that inventory procedure developed, or that's what you're gonna keep working on, or?
And Scott,
Is
you
this
could,
something that you're reading off his report?
No, I just know that when
No,
we
I-
found the computers, we talked about having to come up with a new inventory process so that this wouldn't happen again. So I didn't know, it sounded like that's kind of what you were talking about.
I think there's you know, I think we had some conversation around what that next piece would be, but I think there's still conversation around it.
Oh, yeah.
Doug asked them to take the serial number off of each computer.
But they do that already when they come in. They know where they are. When the computer comes in, they take the serial number, and that's how they track it, where it goes.
Who's they?
Well, that didn't.
Back Bay.
Oh, Back Bay, okay,
But
thank
I
you.
think you're gonna park.
I did. I was just gonna say from my own perspective that after leaving the meeting and everybody, you know, in the other positions other than me who came, brought a piece of information that was sort of like a puzzle that the other people didn't know and didn't have. They didn't have it because literally it was not in their, it was not their responsibility, it was not their duty, it was not their job. So I know once the meeting had pretty much concluded that we all decided that we didn't see the need to literally inventory, because at first, that's what the thinking was, that there was literally physically going to be an inventory. And then once everybody had a chance to sit together and get questions asked and answered, speaking for myself, it didn't seem necessary. And the decision was that it wasn't necessary at that time.
The SIG grant, tell me if I'm wrong, Scott, will take care of the high school with no problem with computers. The place we're gonna have a problem is at MES.
Right, I know that. I'm more talking about trying to prevent what just happened.
Well-
Having 100 computers just sitting somewhere and stuff being
But it takes-
in offices and stuff.
I know, and I know what you're saying.
I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just asking if that's what you're talking about. Is
No.
having this committee is
They can.
around talking about.
We're gonna, by the sound, we're gonna keep better track of what's coming in. But what they explained to us, Back Bay has a problem. When they get a shipment of computers in, they can't go to them right off. They gotta get extra manpower in there. Probably, how many computers can they do a day? Scott, what did he say?
Well, I think, one of these, you're only talking, because the amount of folks from that Back Bay allots for the district currently is just to basically, is maintenance and maintain day to day. So in order, if you have a shipment that comes in, like for example, the 75, for example, purchased through Title I funds that you're referring to, is in order to get them out to the school buildings, you need that extra time. And right now the tech can really, he's only putting out maybe 3 to 4 a day. And he's trying to, he's kind of quick as quickly as he can. And if you, what happens is that if you devote their time to just, we're just going to do just the new computers that to get them out, well, you're neglecting the other piece, which is, hey, we got to, the server goes down, regular computer maintenance that happens on a day-to-day because of the amount of use. So I think that's the thing that you need to kind of take in consideration, that sometimes when the computers arrive, it's not always this very quick, hey, they're here, let's open the box and go. There's some kind of pieces to it. I know for us, and at least at Newt, I know Back Bay does the same thing at MES, is they'll take a lot of times when school is out of session. That's what the time that they kind of use to catch up on a lot of these different items. You'll see them in there all through Christmas break, February and April break. They're in there doing the maintenance because you have a week of, you can dedicate to just those kind of projects and do a lot of catch-up work because they're not being used. Obviously, students aren't there.
And also too is Scott, the writing of this grant, the SIG grant that he's working on now, we're going to build capacity in it so that not only, it's not necessarily an inventory issue, I think Barb explained it well, it's more planning ahead so that we are paying more to Back Bay so they'll have more hands on deck to get them out. So we'll not be in the situation of sitting there with them unpacked and not having the people, having the capacity to do that. He had explained, you know, whatever, that hadn't been the understanding of the original thing. So some of it, so it was said, it's not necessarily an inventory issue as much it was having the capacity of Back Bay in order to get them out there into the people's hands, whether it be the staff or the students. So we're gonna ensure, and Scott, you know, we're gonna work at as we develop the grants and so forth to build the capacity in it so that not only are we getting the material and the computers, but we're paying for the capacity to get them out there. So those were some of the outlining things that we discussed that are very helpful. We kind of framed it as to what is it where we are, and you're right on the thing. Originally, we thought it was an inventory issue, but it was all these other things that as the group got together, we could resolve.
Yeah.
Kayla.
And John, don't think that MES was left out of this loop, because we are constantly thinking about you. And Nathan and I even had a conversation this morning. The REAP grant bought some of the other computers. So Scott was generous and said, you know, you can use the REAP grant for MES. So that is a part of it. So now we're trying to either look for more grant money, because right now we're in a year, no means no. So that means public town money, okay? And you have $18,000, 8 is not covered. So today I was talking to Earl and Doug. If worse comes to worse, what I think we could do is, out of the surplus money, ask the town for $8,000, not to go in the tech fund right now, but directly purchase the rest of your computers if worse comes to worse. So, and we don't have to do that until like December to know that. And Nate let us know that the REAP money could be held until September of 2017. See, that's something else we didn't know. Could any money be held for a little while? Another question I came up with is, why does everybody think everything has to be bought at one time? You know, other computers may be bought a few months later, are the same or compatible. Can we buy in smaller lumps to, you know, to say, like, if we need a computer lab? And these are all, some are new questions, but because of what we came up with. So don't think everybody's just looking at the high school, because more or less Scott said, more or less, that the computers that are in the lab, and the teacher said the same thing, are really not good enough to go to MES,
I
okay?
think yours are in worse shape, I heard.
So, yeah, we have one
Some of
lab
them-
that's.
There's more and more of them that are down, but
Ours are halfway.
John, the way that it's the $10,000 that Scott and Nate apparently felt we had in the REAP would go directly to MES, and they were thinking that that would be.
Well, I guess, are you talking this year, or is this?
This
what
is
we-
coming.
After June 30th.
No.
No, it may
no.
be before.
No, it's
You order
right,
them, but you
Nick?
can't spend it.
Happy birthday.
When's the REAP
You
fund?
got $10,000.
Nate,
It'll be
No.
available soon.
Yeah.
Because you want
So
to,
there's-
We've been
so we're
awarded it
buying-
already, so.
There's now, you're thinking, the ones that were budgeted for next year.
Once Nate ascertains
okay,
exactly, A, when the REAP funds are gonna come, B,
thank you.
to ensure that that is legal.
Well, we gotta find the other $8,000 to do the whole room,
Yeah.
unless we can
That's
do
what you meant.
part of the
Yeah.
room and then part of the room, you know.
But they're gonna match. you know.
They take it out.
Color or?
Yeah,
Red.
some blue, some
You
red.
don't need the
They
same
gotta-
color.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Wait a minute
That might distract some of the kids.
There was a ball brown.
All right, no, that makes sense, and I
Yeah.
think it's important because it's great that you guys had a meeting, but those out in cyberspace watching
Right?
know that you guys, we brought this up, and this is a good follow-up to say this is what the discussion was about.
Well, we got 2 extra carts by error, but they're going back.
Mhm.
They thought they only sent 1, but they ended up sending 3, and then they sent 2 more. So they're on their way back.
We have 2 also.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2
And
extra
Scott
ones.
asked that your computers be programmed first for MES.
I asked them.
Well, he did it formally.
Okay?
You relayed your
So
message.
don't think that MES is by far left behind because we are not. We're working on it. Even today, we were working on it.
Right?
So is the grant committee something like the policy committee and the,
We're gonna have to look at who's gonna form that. I have,
No,
Right.
the grant committee is more like the technology. It's an ad hoc focus group that is designated to help with ensuring that there's transparency in the system so everybody knows what's going on. It's not a board committee, it's a district type of committee composed of administration, of teaching staff, of board members, of community members that look at that, focus on grants.
anything else on the computers?
I think we about covered everything.
Okay, moving on to policies for the second reading. Would somebody from my policy committee like to?
Let's get a couple on there
First.
on this.
What's that?
The public gifts.
Oh,
Gifts
First.
and bidding requirements.
no, that's gone back to the policy
Okay,
committee.
so these are off the table. Okay.
Yeah, the policy committee's anything else. yeah. Yeah, it's
You have
KCD and DJE,
Correct.
so I need to read the whole thing again?
whatever you want to do.
Well, the board officers, we brought back last time,
Yeah.
so we're bringing it back, this time taking out the secretary.
At the top.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just
Because
coming out.
And you're
The
gonna,
other
ba-
one did come out.
you're gonna go back over and take the comma out between chairperson and vice chairperson and put an and in there.
Can do that.
Here.
No, remove this.
Oh,
Remove that comma, put and over there. If you wanna read aloud, people wanna hear it, you can.
Yeah.
I think they're all set.
They're all set? Okay.
Unless anyone
I think so.
has a special request.
Moving on
Can't find the other
to,
one. The non-renewal,
Yeah.
we tabled again because the plan was to follow up with the state around getting more guidance around immorality.
Okay. So do we have to
We need
vote on
more
these?
time to do that.
Do we need to vote on these to accept?
Oh, the board officers,
That one we
BDB?
can.
yeah.
I'll make a motion on that one, to
I'll
accept that
second.
one.
I'll
With change,
accept.
with changes.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
changes will be made in the morning.
Paul, okay.
I'll
Paul.
second.
Paul and Peg. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes. Thank you very
And the
much.
non-renewal we tabled, correct?
Yeah, table, okay. I just have 2 more things under the school business. I'll find it here. We got a nice thank you card from the $1,000 we donated to the trip to New York City from the students. They all signed it,
Oh, nice.
Nice. Oh, that's cute.
all right? I wanted to mention that.
Oh, wow.
The other thing I went and checked on, I know we've been having problems, people getting their packets and getting their checks. So I went down to the post office the other day and I talked to them. Now what happens, if you live down there, you mail something that's for something in town, what happens to it? It doesn't go back to the post office, it goes to Manchester. And that's what happens. Now, if you go down to the post office and put something in town, the possibility is that they do not have the time. Sometimes, if there's a large volume of mail in local, they don't have time to sort it out. And what they do is they end up sending that to Manchester too, and then it comes back. And that's why it's taken even though you live in town and you're waiting for your check, that's why it's taken a week or longer to get your check, because it's all going to Manchester. And that's what and even if you put it in the local box, you got a problem.
Is this a school board dilemma?
Yes, it is.
Why?
Because
What can
staff
you do
member,
about it?
nothing.
Oh.
But staff members need to realize what's going on at the post office and why their checks are late. And people don't get their packets.
So I pick it up now.
So she picks it up
so
now.
the school board-
All because of Laura.
It's
All
Laura.
because of
I
Laura.
was waiting for it.
You waiting for me to say that?
To be
Waiting for
Laura's fault.
something.
No, it's not your fault. Okay, that's all I have, okay.
Now we're gonna get an angry letter from
Wait for your check.
Yeah.
We don't appreciate your criticism.
Okay, moving on to old business. I do have something for you. Oh, I'll put that back, what that. What this is, up to about a week ago, this is all the donations that have come in for the MES project. Now, what they want is, they want all the names to be anonymous, and that's why they're not on the sheet. I do have a copy with them on there, but they don't want them publicized. I'm only going by what I was asked to do.
Yeah.
Is this for the ball field?
Yes, the ball field. So you all got up to about a week ago.
Audience.
When you say they wish just everyone to be anonymous, who are you referring to? Who's they?
Some of the people on this list
Oh,
do
the
not
donors
want to.
themselves?
Yes, so they don't want their names to be put out publicly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm honoring their wishes. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, that's all I have on old business. Anybody else have anything else?
Scott stink. Did Scott stink?
No, the chair does.
Shouldn't have done it. Anything else on old business? Committee board reports?
Bye.
Anybody have anything? Policy committee all set, they met?
You tabled that other one, that was all you guys had, right?
Yeah. Any, Barb, would you like a copy of this list?
Sure, I would love a copy.
Right here. Give you a copy.
Oh, Larry might.
Mr. Brown?
You want a copy?
Is that list redacted?
About a week ago, this when this came out. There's more that's been added,
So
but
the anonymous people are anonymous.
It's anonymous.
Okay.
they're not listed.
The name is redacted.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay? Any public comments?
I do have an observation. I don't know whether it would help moving forward or really gum up the works. But I know that the Friends of Newt as an organization exists and that they are a registered charitable nonprofit with the state. And there might be a beneficial angle, I hate to use that word, when you wish to donate something and you can donate it to a legitimate nonprofit, whether it's goods and services, whatever, then as a donor, you can receive a tax receipt. And one of the things that I haven't understood yet about what's happened so far is that there is an opportunity for businesses or the community or people to be making their donations in goods or services to the Friends of Newt in exchange for a tax receipt, if applicable, that's up to each individual's tax status. It's not up to the Friends of Newt to decide. And then the Friends of Newt simply give the donation to whoever, whatever this entity is. And I think it's early enough in the game, considering that there is still fundraising to happen, that I think it's a valuable possibility that may be overlooked.
Very interesting,
So can they
Barbara.
not get a tax?
No, because they're not donating it to a non-taxable.
But they're doing it,
entity.
they're doing it to the Parks and Rec. That's what the donations are going.
Well, if
They
they're not
haven't a fund.
registered with the Attorney General in New Hampshire,
I
they're
don't know
not
if
a
they are not.
nonprofit. Friends of Newt is a 501c3.
Yeah.
But why couldn't you just donate it to the school though?
They're not a
Sure.
nonprofit. Well,
Yes, we do. We have
Yeah, we
a
have.
tax.
You're right.
We have a tax-free number.
Yep.
are you a 501?
Yes,
Mhm.
see,
Right.
We brought that
Well,
up at the last
then-
meeting about any large donations, because we're a 501c3, it has to
Yeah.
be brought to the
Right.
school board first.
Yep.
Because, okay, in that case then, are you all ready next year to generate the,
we haven't been asked to do it. We're not handling the program. The school isn't. The
who's handling it?
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
and the
But that's
selectmen.
what she's
Right,
saying,
yeah,
but
they're
we're
not.
accepting it. So even though we're allowing them
We haven't
to
accepted-
manage it,
we
we
haven't
are
accept-
accepting the softball field.
We haven't accepted the donation to the, yeah.
Well, like I said, not to
It's
not
on
to
the
gum
school
up the works at this point,
property.
but to
Well,
either
that I know. Thank you. That I know.
either be aware that somebody may hear from someone when tax season starts next year, and if that's the case, they have the right to ask for a receipt for tax purposes. So they're gonna be asking somebody, and so this information is gonna need to be more fleshed out somewhere on record.
It is. They hold all the names.
Tax ID numbers.
You're gonna have to go, I don't know what Parks and
Okay.
Recs have.
All right.
I have
I
not.
was viewing it as an opportunity for an additional opportunity for fundraising. To make this known that if you wish to donate something substantial to the remainder of the ballpark construction, that the opportunity may exist for you to get a tax receipt and that it's tax deductible.
There, is the townhouse restoration nonprofit?
Yes.
So it could be going through them too, but,
Why is the Parks not,
right. if
Parks
it's
and
on
Recreation
school,
not a nonprofit?
'cause
I
It's a
wonder-
It's a town
town,
department, that's all, it's just a staff town department.
Hmm.
not a nonprofit
The
organization.
town
Well,
can take
it's not
donations.
for profit, but,
But that's what she's
Registered.
saying. She's saying it's an incentive.
right,
If
in the future.
someone wants to donate, sometimes they would like to do so for tax write-off purposes.
Absolutely.
So if we're not, at this point, if Parks and Rec is handling it, that is off the table. They cannot do it for tax write-off because they are not a nonprofit. However, you're saying have the donation come through Friends of Newt, or it sounds like come through the school, cause we are a nonprofit,
Could do PTA too.
and they would have a tax write-off. And I think we.
Not guaranteed, Stephanie, excuse me for interrupting, but you cannot promote, you will have a tax write-off, you can't do
Oh.
that. It's on a case-by-case,
Right.
that's between that person and their their CPA.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You can give them the letter, or the,
Exactly.
Proof
yes, you
that they
donated
donated.
$2,000,
Yes.
but when they go to do their taxes, they may not be able to use it
Right,
as a
you
tax
don't
deduction.
go out on
Yeah.
a limb and make
Right.
that commitment, that's on a
Right.
case-by-case basis.
Larry?
Yes, the Parks and Rec Commission exists by the permissive appointed authority of the town. As such, it is under the control and has all the rights of a division of the town. The point that Peg made, there is practically a form that says that such and such has been received, no goods and services were exchanged for it. the determination that your grandmother's tea set was worth $5,000 is something that you and the IRS may have to write out. But for Barbara's point, that anything that brings the advantages of participating in community to the community's attention is a good thing. And if you want to go back farther, there is still, no, never mind, no, I remember too much. No.
Okay. Anything else?
So is that something, as the board?
I'll
person,
ask
can you
Karen
just-
tomorrow.
Well, not asking Karen, I was gonna ask you to bring it to their next meeting for everyone to hear, not just Karen.
Well,
You attend the meeting?
No, I can't all the time because they do meetings when I can't attend.
Oh, I didn't.
And then the last time they did that, I
Well, I
could not.
thought we were having a board representative at that meeting.
Well, I tell them it has to be after 12 and 1 o'clock, and the last meeting they had was at 10 o'clock on a Friday, and I could not make it. And they know, I
Yeah.
tell them when I can or can't make it.
So, I
So
just
you-
think it's important for a board member, especially, this is great, this is not criticism that they're doing this, and yes, it is the school and the town working together. However, this is on the school property, this is gonna be something that the school is gonna be responsible for. So I think it would be important for them to make sure that a school representative is there.
He tries to be there, but he can't be everywhere.
Well, I'm saying they should have that meeting
Well,
at the right time, not when you can't be there.
Well, I mean, sometimes they call emergency meeting and I'm not able to make it, or a quick meeting, and I'm not able to make it. Well, they do post it properly, but I have commitments that sometimes I
So,
can't.
do you think maybe at that time, I mean, could Lou substitute in or Peg
Okay, yeah.
substitute in on those times because they are
Available?
available?
It needs to be addressed to the record.
Yeah,
So someone
yeah.
from
I will do it tomorrow.
board needs to do it.
Okay.
I would like it I'm asking it to be to the whole committee.
Well, I'll ask
Well, I
him
know,
the
but
next
he
meeting.
can ask,
Right.
he can let Karen know that we have a concern that they have meetings that there is not a school board member there.
Okay, all right.
And do something about it, either have them
I'll ask if I
after,
can send somebody else.
or Doug send somebody else? And Lou, would you be all right if, okay, so the two of us could be your backups?
Yep.
Are your
Thank you.
backs up?
But that's only
Thanks,
if you're
Barbara.
unavailable.
Right.
Because you're doing a great job.
Yep.
and-
Yeah.
Anything else from the public? Are we going to non-public?
Thank you, Barbara. That's a good point.
I need a motion to go into non-public.
Motion.
Paul?
Going to non-public.
Paul,
Second.
RSA 91A 3 to A, B, C.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Paul?